Hey guys, welcome back to
Fueled by Faith.
So it has been so long since we've done our past episode. I think the last thing we talked about is the fruits of the spirit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I was sick for so long, but we're back at it. We're ready to
Better
go.
than ever.
We are talking about gratitude in God and having blessings through the Holy Spirit, through Jesus, through the God of the universe. So let's just get right into it.
Yeah.
Do
So, today we're gonna kind of be talking about gratitude and like thankfulness and counting our blessings and like just realizing how lucky we are to have all the things that we do.
Mm-hmm.
So this is gonna be kind of like a reality check in a way, but everything we're about to say, we are not saying to make you feel bad. We are saying to bring humility upon us all. And I personally think that humility is a very virtuous trait that I think everybody should have at least a little bit of, because people with humility don't think less of themselves, they just think of themselves less, which I think is such a beautiful thing. So yeah, we're gonna kind of just be talking about how we're gonna be putting life into perspective and make you feel more grateful for everything you have, because everyone is wealthy in a way. And one of my favorite things that I think, sorry, I just keep talking, but
That's what this is for.
but because like I said, everyone is wealthy in a way, some people are so poor that all they have is money.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
I've been seeing that on TikTok, and it's been resonating with me.
I know. And just like Tay said, we're not trying to like sit here and talk about how we're bad people or anything, but we do want to make sure that we are humbling ourselves down to the level that we should be. And this is a collective thing that we need to talk about as a community, and that we need to kind of help each other realize that whenever we're here down on earth by ourselves and we don't have that visual contact with God or with Jesus, we kind of tend to forget, and we believe that like we are above everything. And even if we don't think that, it's kind of subconscious sometimes, where we'll walk around and just think that we own the place, and that's not the case. And so that's kind of just what we're going to be mentioning a little bit, is we need to give everything we have to God. And today we're going to be talking about that thankfulness, because we just need to humble ourselves before Him.
Yeah. And so to start us off with a verse, I have Matthew 23:12, which is, "For those who exalt themselves will be humbled, and those who humble themselves will be exalted." So what that means, it's like those who make themselves up to be someone better and someone higher, they will be humbled, and their downfall will take them.
Yeah.
But those who humble themselves will be taken up, and they will be exalted. And better things come to those who humble themselves. And a really great way to phrase that is, expect nothing, appreciate everything.
I love that. I'm gonna start using that. So let's get into talking about just like, what is thankfulness biblically? What is the blessings that we have? What is all of it? So let's just kind of get into that.
Yeah.
Do you have a definition for it, or should I read a verse?
I would read verse.
Okay. So this is 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 verse 18, and it says, "Give thanks in all circumstances, for this is the will of God in Christ Jesus given for you." This is something I want to talk about. This is mainly the point I have written down that I want to talk about today, and it's giving thanks in all circumstances. This is my main point, because it's also something that I struggle with a little bit, and it's just the idea that you shouldn't only be giving thanks to God whenever you are feeling that gratitude. If you are feeling on fire for God and everything in your life is going amazing and you're on top of the world, that is not the time that you should be giving thanks to God. It's not the only time. You should also be giving thanks to God when you feel like you're down in the trenches in the lowest of lows. You are always going to have that like withstanding relationship with God, whether it feels like it or not. Because things ebb and flows, and it's important to withstand that thankfulness with God.
Yeah. And, I mean, there's two quotes that come to my mind when you say that. Like, sometimes God lets you hit rock bottom so you realize that He is the rock at the bottom.
Yes.
I love that. I think it's so perfectly worded. And there was another one. What was it? I was just thinking it like 2 seconds ago.
Actually, I'm going to make a comment about what you just said with that quote going along. I wrote this down. And I wrote that Whenever we think of thankfulness, at least personally, it doesn't seem like a chore, but it seems like a job that we have. We must give thankfulness, we must give all of that to God, and we must give that thankfulness to Him. Give all of our gracious gratitude, blah, blah, blah. I think that everyone should be looking at it more as a gift. I truly believe that God loved the world so much that He gave us thankfulness as a perspective. It is amazing to have thankfulness. It's such a blessing. I wrote down, being thankful is a gift and the best way to live your life. If you walk around and you're thankful for everything, you're going to have that fulfillment in Jesus. Mm-hmm. And I also wrote down that even secular psychology sees the positive benefits for the heart with thankfulness. There are so many statistics behind the fact that people who have more thankfulness in their lives and are more positive, or they live longer, they have a healthier lifestyle, they are closer to Jesus, they blah, 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 the list goes on. It's such a gift that we get to have that thankfulness in our lives, and we get to look around and be able to have a perspective where we can see all of the beautiful things that God has given to us in this beautiful earth that we get to live on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, guys, one thing that I think we need to take in the gravity of is tomorrow is not promised. Mm-hmm. And you are not entitled to anything. You are not entitled to another day on this earth. You are not entitled to another meal. You are entitled to nothing. Mm-hmm. And that sounds really harsh. That sounds really mean.
It is.
And that's really kind of in your face. But take that in. Like, think about you. That's why we should expect nothing and appreciate everything, because every little thing we have is a gift. Like, from the earrings in my ears to the hair on my head. Like, literally just having hair is a gift. And having, like, the ability to have, like, earrings. Like, that's such a small thing, but, like, that's something that not a lot of people have.
Yeah.
When you really think about it.
I totally agree.
And the one thing that you said that really caught my attention, that I really liked, is, I just remembered what I was going to say. It was until God opens the next door, praise Him in the hallway.
I love that.
Like, I think that's so, like, it's beautiful, because even in your waiting seasons when you could be at rock bottom, you should still be praising God, and you can still be like, hey, I woke up this morning. Mm-hmm. That's a gift in its own. Yeah, having the breath of life running through our lungs, that is a gift on its own. Having our heart beating without having a machine hooked up to it. Yeah. Being able to live and have nutrients in our body and to move our bodies, that is a gift.
I totally agree. And actually, I'm jumping all over the place, but you're kind of like connecting what I have written down here. And I just wanted to say, if you have faith in God that He has a plan for you, an amazing plan for you. Me and Thais have talked about this before. Having that trust in God, that God's plan is always greater than the plan that we have for ourselves. And if you have that faith in that, you should be so thankful that you're in a waiting season, because you're saying, I'm so happy I'm here. I'm so happy that even though I feel like I'm not at my peak right now, I'm in a waiting season, I'm going through a storm, I know that God is preparing me for the amazing things that are to come. I know that there's a rainbow at the end of this storm, and I know that I'm going to be on fire for Jesus whenever this waiting season is over. It's amazing to have every single day that we do have, and to have that perspective of the gratitude is kind of gonna, it's not only something that you should be doing, but it's gonna help you as a person just kind of walk with God through different things, and to put everything in perspective on where He's placing you and kind of what He's letting you go through.
Yeah. And one of my all-time favorite quotes, I just keep throwing quotes at you guys, but I think quotes really help me to remind myself of the little things in life that matter more than you think. You grow through what you go through. Oh. That, like, I'm pretty sure that's on my wall.
That was my church service. It was called Grow and Glow.
You're lying.
No, this last weekend.
That Post-it note has been up there. That one and the purple one on top of it. They have been up there for months. I have not taken them down. Because they're my two favorites. Because the purple one on top, my big made for me. And so I've never taken that one down. But I just think it's such a beautiful thing to be privileged to be alive and to have hope. Because, guys, to have hope in the Lord, that is a privilege. Because some people who are actually like so depressed. They physically can't, well, they can because God can work miracles, but to them it feels impossible to have hope. Mm-hmm. And it's just, it's beautiful that we have the freedom of emotion to be able to feel thankful for the things we have. And like Katie was saying just a couple minutes ago, like, it is, oh my gosh, I'm a mess today, but it's a beautiful thing that we get to live and that we just have the things that we do.
Yeah. I'm actually going to read a Bible verse for that. You're like my transition. She's getting me into it. So this is Ecclesiastes chapter 9 verse 7, and my translation's a little bit weird, but it's just a quick verse. It says, "Go, eat your bread with joy, and drink your wine with a merry heart, for God has already approved what you do." And it's just saying, go live your life, be happy, be thankful for the food that you have on your table, be thankful for the wine, the blood of Jesus that we get to drink. And it's just saying here, this is just one verse. I could have written down, there are so many verses in the Bible that talk about having gratitude in God, and this is just one of them. There was also another one I wanted to bring it up, but we'll do that a bit later. So
yeah. No, it's so beautiful the way that God has worked through our lives for all of that. And so another verse that I have for you guys is 1 Corinthians 10:30 through 31. "If I take part in the meal with thankfulness, why am I denounced because of something I thank God for? So whether you eat or drink or whatever you do it all for the glory of God. Do not cause anyone to stumble." I actually went into 32 for that last part because I really liked it. But I just think it's beautiful in that. I keep saying beautiful, but the truth is everything about God is so beautiful. Mm-hmm. And the mercies he's shown us, and it's such a gift. Like, when you think about it, like, God didn't have to die for us. Well, Jesus didn't have to die for us. He didn't have to, but he did anyways. Mm-hmm. And that in itself is true fulfillment. Mm-hmm. And I just remembered what I was going to say a little while ago. Katie was talking about how being happy and, like, listening to happy music and such, like, makes you happy, and it's, like, better for you, and it gives you more hope. And I was thinking about the sun. So I was talking about this the other day, because at night, so if you guys don't know, when the sun goes down, the moon only shines because of the light reflecting onto it from the sun. Mm-hmm. And it was the other night, I was laying in my bed in the moonlight. It was a full moon. The moonlight was coming through my window. And I was thinking, and I was like, how beautiful is it that the sun puts itself down every night and then shines its light on the moon, and it never asks for anything in return.
Yeah.
I just think that's so humbling. And I think it's like the literal, like, I mean, it's obvious, like, is the sun living? I don't think so. Mm-hmm. So.
It's an abiotic effect.
And so, like, I just think it's beautiful that that's the way God has done that for us. Mm-hmm. Like, the moon wouldn't shine at all if it wasn't for the sun, and everything works in perfect correlation to each other. And I think we should all strive to be like the sun.
Yeah.
Because the sun shines its light onto the moon. It never asks for anything in return. The sun gives people hope. People trust in the sun, that the sun will come up the next day. Yeah. The sun gives people hope that there will be tomorrow. And the sun makes people happy, and it provides nutrients. Like, there's so much good that the sun does for us. And I know this is, like, so totally off topic, but I think we should all strive to be a little bit more like the sun every day.
And actually, Thais just transitioned into something I want to talk about. Whenever me and Thais were saying earlier how my church topic was grow and go, that's what it was. My pastor was making different comments, and I've tried to talk about this before, and he kind of just reminded me, so this is so perfect, I'm going to talk about this. He was talking about scientifically, either some people say that science can make you grow further away from God because it gives you logic behind everything instead of faith, but I truly believe that science will bring you closer to God if you study certain things. For example, a lot of scientists will say that almost everything in the universe will point to an unconditional, larger being outside of space and time, aka God. And my pastor was talking about different things that happen in the earth, statistically, and just like different data and science that happens behind the earth's movement and everything in it, how it perfectly correlates so that the earth can rotate and that we can live the way we do. And it kind of connects to our gratitude, because just how much we take everything for granted. For example, I'm going to give you an example. If gravity was 0.0000001% off, the world would implode. It wouldn't be able to be a sphere the way that it is. It wouldn't be able to rotate the way that it is. Or if there were 25 hours in a day instead of 24 hours in a day, the windshield or the wind vortex would be too much, and the earth wouldn't be able to rotate. The humans wouldn't be able to live on earth. Or the list goes on and on and on, and it basically all points back to the fact that the earth is perfectly made for us. Perfectly made for us, and I don't know how you could look at that and not believe in God, but that is a topic for a different day. The point is, we take everything that we have here for granted. The earth that we live on is the most perfect place that we could be, and we just wake up every day and kind of look at it like, oh, you know, there's the grass, there's the trees, there's the birds that are chirping, blah, 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 but it's such an amazing gift that we have this earth that is so fulfilling just for us to wake up each and every day.
That is beautiful.
Little off topic.
No, I love it. There is, like he was saying, there is so much that we take for granted daily. I was talking about this last night at Bible study. Did you know that if you have more than one pair of shoes, you are wealthier than 72% of the population in the world? Because I feel like we are kind of in our own little bubble in America. Like, America is a free country. We have so many more rights than other countries. And I just think we take that for granted so much because we aren't aware. One of my favorite verses, I'm actually going to go back to it. One of my favorite verses, because I think about this verse every single day, because it truly just made me be reminded of how important it is to be well-read and well-educated and to know what you're talking about, and also to get in your word and to know the facts about why you believe in God. It is 1 Peter 3:15. But in your hearts revere Christ as Lord. Always be prepared to give an answer to everyone who asks you to give the reason for the hope that you have. Oh. That is one of my favorite verses ever. It's I'll say it again, 1 Peter 3:15. I love that verse because that's why I think it's so important to know your facts and to know what you're talking about. And so essentially what I'm trying to get across is when we think about it and we think about all the third world countries everywhere around us, some countries, like, we were talking about this. What country was it? Do you remember?
What, that doesn't have freedom in religion?
Yeah.
No, I don't remember.
I don't remember which country.
You said it yesterday.
Yeah, we were talking about this. But there's so many places where they still don't have freedom of religion. Women don't have rights to vote.
Different things.
It's like, yeah, there's so many luxuries that we have in today, like having multiple pairs of shoes. Yeah. We take that for granted. And like having access to clean water and to fresh food and fresh vegetables and like all the beautiful things that we take for granted. And we were talking about this in history, and I think about it all the time. Disposable income. We are so lucky to have disposable income because, I mean, we are able to, like, if you, like, just looking around my room, I'm able to have jewelry. I have a candle warmer. Like, that's, like, I don't even know. I'm just naming random things. Like, I have a mirror. I have hairbrushes.
I was doing that same thing today. I was laying in bed, and I was like, I cannot believe I get to lay in my comfy bed.
Like, I have a bed. I have decor above my bed. I have a bed frame. Like, there is so much that we have that so many people don't have. Like, there are people living in homeless shelters, people who are living from paycheck to paycheck, people who have absolutely no savings and are still trying to pay off their student loans and student debt. We are so lucky.
So lucky.
If you are even watching this right now, that means you have a device, which means you have access to the internet. That is a blessing in its own.
You're lucky.
You are blessed.
You're blessed.
Like, you are blessed for that. And that's why I feel like it's so important for us to humble ourselves, because there's so much that we take for granted. And if you'll ever notice, whenever... Okay, this is going to be a really weird reference, but I know some people will get this. In the movie Descendants... Descendants 3. Descendants 3.
Okay, I follow.
I forget his name. It was like the son of Gaston, like the pirate guy. Not the pirate guy. The other one. I know
who you're talking about. But
yeah,
I forget his name.
like the yellow one.
Yeah.
With like the blonde hair. When he first when he first goes to Oridon, he sees berries on a bush, and he was just shocked. He was flabbergasted. Yeah. He saw the berries on the bush, and he's like, "You guys have like fruit that grows here? Like we like have to form ours in like a science lab." Like, they were so shocked that there was berries that grow out in the wild that you can just eat. And like, I just think that's such a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
To see that in like a kids movie for anything, like teaching kids to be humble.
And if we have God, then we have everything we need. And that's something I want to talk about. I'm going to share just a little thing I wrote down about the Garden of Adam and Eve, because it says that if God is for you, who can be against you? Who can be against you? You have everything you need in your life if you have God. Look at the book of Job. Job lost everything that he loved in his life. He lost his family, his job, all of his belongings, and he remained to have this perfect faith with God. And that's how we should all be, but I wanted to talk about this specifically, and it relates to the Garden of Eden. And I said, in the Garden of Adam and Eve, they were provided with everything they could possibly need. God gave them all that they needed, and it was supposed to be all that humanity would ever need, was in the Garden of Eden. And there was still temptation in the garden. And that is exactly what caused Eve to eat the apple. The temptation drove her to take her eyes off what she had and to look instead at the things that she couldn't have. When you focus on the things that you are lacking in your life, you will never find fulfillment in anything, including your relationship with Jesus. If you are looking at all of the things that you don't have, if I had this beautiful house just like Thais has, this beautiful room, all of my belongings, and I say I don't have the new makeup product that everyone has, or it's so embarrassing, I don't have a new pair of shoes that everyone else I know has. You are so far from what you need and what you are looking at, and the same thing goes with God. You are not going to find any gratitude in your relationship with God if you're so ungrateful all the time. If I'm walking around and all I'm looking at is the things I don't have, and I'm just sulking that I don't have this and I don't have that, and I'm so unlucky, and I'm not going to be thankful, and I'm not going to have that same connection with God, because I'm going to feel like God is punishing me. I'm going to feel like I cannot believe that God wouldn't give me all of this, and why is he doing this to me? Why is he treating me like this? And that is not how it should be. And I wrote down, gratitude is a vital part in your walk with God. You need gratitude to have a walk with God. It's not something that you should be just, I should thank God. You need to thank God. You need to have that as a relationship with him. Otherwise, you're going to be just doubting your faith. It's going to be tearing everything down. And gratitude kind of stands at that base where you can wake up every day and say, oh God, I thank you so much for this. And it's going to want to give you that motivation to serve him, because you are going to be more humble that way. You say, I don't have to have all this, but God, you are so good that you are giving it to me. I want to serve you and thank you, and I just want to live for you. And it's just kind of at the base of all of that.
That is beautiful. So well said. Like, I genuinely could not agree more, because we are so gifted. We have the right to an education. Mm-hmm. We have, for example, literally even like we have like 911. We have emergency service people who are like literally at our beck and call for when we're in danger. Grateful. Like, I just think that's such a beautiful thing. You know, we were going for a walk before this. You know what Katie said to me? She's like, I'm just so grateful for parking lots, because someone looked at the world and said, we need places to put our cars.
I just thought it was a good idea.
I just think that is so precious. Like, protect her heart, God, please. That was beautiful. Because
what's the other thing we said? Thank you for ice cream.
Yeah, ice cream. Who, guys? That is such a blessing.
That's
ice cream.
I said we live on a floating rock in the middle of the world, and someone thought we need ice cream. We
exactly.
Need to have a sweet treat.
Like, we need ice cream. We need like that is so beautiful. I just love it. Like, that's literally. I couldn't have worded that better. And so, if you don't already know this, we are currently in like a Lenten season. We are in Lent. And most people give something up out of respect, almost, I would say. Out of respect for God, and like be like, hey, I want to give this up, so I'm giving this to you, and I'm giving it up in your name and in your honor, and I'm doing it for you. It's like a sacrifice.
Yeah.
And so you give it up for the 40 days. And if it goes well, you give it up forever. Mm-hmm. So that's great. A lot of people give up stuff like sugar. I gave up bread 40. It's going great. Anyways, so I'm Catholic, and for Catholics, do you guys do Ash Wednesday?
It's still, I do Ash Wednesday. So.
Okay.
I don't know if my church does it, though. Okay. But I did it at my school once. Okay, anyway, keep going.
So, Ash Wednesday is basically a day of mourning, in a sense. No, that's good. That's
Good Friday.
That's Good Friday.
Well, Good Friday is the day that Jesus got crucified.
Yeah. So, Good Friday is a day of mourning. But, anyways, like, did you know that, like, we're not supposed to laugh on Good Friday? Or, like, smile? Like, it's frowned upon. But not anymore. Not in modern day.
Oh, okay.
But, like, in the old days, like, if you were caught, like, smiling, people,
it's kind of like on
it was
Sabbath,
frowned upon.
if you, like,
yeah.
prayed or did work.
Yeah.
People were like, what are you doing?
Yeah. But, regardless, to get back to the point, on Ash Wednesday, it's, like, whatever. You guys probably know what Ash Wednesday is. But we go get our ashes, and it's great. And so, the one verse that I want to read to you guys, it's what they say to you when they give you your ashes. So, it's Genesis 3:19. By the sweat of your brow you will eat your food until you return to the ground, since from it you were taken, for dust you are, and to dust you will return. So, when they're giving you your ashes and they're drawing the cross on your forehead, they say, for dust you are, and to dust you shall return. And Ash Wednesday is all about humbling us and letting us realize who God is to us and how he's blessed us. And it's a day of humbling, almost. And so they say that to us to make us think, because as women, we are made from Eve was made from Adam's rib, right? And so, as women, we are a man's missing rib.
Yeah.
But, literally, like it says, for dust you are, and to dust you shall return. So, when you think about that and you put that into perspective, we are literally just dust clumped together.
Yeah.
We're literally just atoms. Dust. And then, the world, floating rock. Floating rock.
It's not that serious.
Yeah, and I don't say that to take away from the beauty of the world and the gift that it is to be alive, but I say that to have you humble yourself and think, like, why am I so worried about such worldly things when I have a God who loves me? Like it says, Isaiah 54:17, no weapon that is formed against you shall prosper. Mm-hmm. And the Lord is my shepherd, I lack nothing. Psalm 23:1. Think about that. The Lord is my shepherd. I lack nothing. Like, we lack nothing if you have God in your life.
If Jesus is for you, who could be against you?
Exactly. Who could be against you? If there's someone that's, like, mean to you, and you're like, oh, they're so mean to me, they're against me, you think that they can defy the power of God?
Like, really?
Come on.
It's not that serious.
No.
Okay. Is there anything else you want to say?
I don't know. I think I'm good.
I want to share this story before we go. So, this is Luke chapter 17. And this chapter is a pretty long chapter. I was looking at it. It's pretty decent size. But this is one story. And it's whenever Jesus was on earth. And me and Thais talk about this a lot. How Jesus, whenever he spent his time here on earth, he went through a lot of similar things that we go through daily. He was here for 33 years. Mm-hmm. Yeah, 33 years. He went through a lot of the stuff that we go through. So here's one story. And it starts at verse 11, chapter 17, verse 11. And it's titled, Jesus Cleanses 10 Lepers. And it says, on the way to Jerusalem, he was passing along between Samaria and Galilee. As he entered a village, he was met by 10 lepers, who stood at a distance and lifted up their voices, saying, Jesus, Master, have mercy on us. When he saw them, he said to them, go and show yourselves to the priests. As he went back, they were all cleansed. Then one of them, when he saw was healed, turned back, praising God with a loud voice, and he fell on his face at Jesus' feet, giving him thanks. Now he was a Samaritan. Then Jesus answered, were not all 10 cleansed? Where are the other 9? Was no one found to return and give praise to God except for this foreigner? And he said to him, rise and go your way. Your faith has made you well. So these 10 lepers came to Jesus, and he ordered them to all go to the priest to be healed of their leprosy. And only 1 out of 10 of them came back to give thanks to God. And it says here, he was so confused. He said, weren't all 10 cleansed? Where are the other 9? And no one was found except for this one man who was a non-Israelite, actually. And God was just so grateful that this guy came back to give him gratitude for Jesus healing him. But it also just goes to show how these people had a lot of faith that God wasn't going to fail them and Jesus was going to heal them, and they knew that, but they didn't think to go back and thank him for this miracle that he just provided them with. Jesus right here just changed the entire future, because back in biblical times, if someone was cursed with leprosy, they were shunned from the community, which means they wouldn't be able to be around people, and basically their whole future they weren't allowed to go anywhere or do anything. Jesus just took that away from all of these men. He changed their entire futures, and he just gave them an opportunity of a lifetime, and they didn't think to go back and just say thank you. And it just goes to show how not only how we need to humble ourselves and always give thanks to God, but also God loves it when we give thanks to him. Who wouldn't? I mean, it just shows right here how happy Jesus was that this one non-Israelite man came back to say thank you.
Yeah. And I mean, the one thing that I think about a lot whenever I'm praying, it's like sometimes we get caught up in asking God for things that we forget to thank him for all the blessings we already have. Mm-hmm. And one thing that I think I can sometimes be ignorant to is the prayers that he has already answered.
Yeah. And
then I feel like sometimes, and guys, I'm saying this is a vulnerability thing for me. I don't really tell a lot of people this. But sometimes I'm left and I'm like God answered this prayer and I just didn't thank him for it. And then it's I
totally know what you mean.
Yeah.
And it's kind of the exact same situation as this people, where sometimes if you have a lot of faith in God, and I will say a prayer about this, and then the prayer will be answered immediately because God is so good, and I'll go back the next night and I'll pray again, and I won't thank him for it because I just think, of course God answered that prayer. He's so good to me. But I won't thank him. It's the same thing that happened with these people. They had faith that God was going to heal them, but they didn't think to go back and say thank you. He just did this amazing thing for me, and I just, I knew he would, blah, blah, blah. That is not how we should be acting toward God. And it's something that's very easy to fall into and forget about. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there anything else we want to say?
I don't think so.
So, if you want to take anything away, be thankful for everything that God has given you with. He is an amazing God. He is a perfect God that has given us amazing things. And just wake up every day and have that perspective to be thankful, not just for God, but for yourself too.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, like Katie was saying, if you take anything away from this, expect nothing, appreciate everything.
Mm-hmm. God's for you, who could be against you.
Remember that you're a clump of dust, and to dust you shall return.
It's not that serious.
And one thing that I think is going to be helpful that will help you to grow in your gratitude. Oh, I like how that rhymes. When you wake up every morning, you should just say to yourself, be like, hey, God, thanks for waking me up today.
Waking me up this morning.
I know I don't deserve it. I will never deserve it, but thank you.
Yeah.
Just remember that you are entitled to nothing, and if you ever think you have it really bad, there's someone who has it so much worse than you.
Mm-hmm.
Be content with what you have.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay, guys. I want to thank you so much for watching. And
Bless up.
Yeah, for real. Sometimes me and Tace just sit here and ramble, but
yeah.
Thank you for watching. So, are you ready?
Ready?
3, 2, 1.
God loves you, and so do we.
Yeah.